So in this video, we're going to add Adrian the Quetzalcoatlus's wings, but this technique actually would also apply to the pterodactyl. It would also apply to the bat, and very similar really for George the Dragon and the sugar glider as well. So basically what we're doing is we have stuffed and sewed up our animal, and then we're going to work backwards and forwards between the body and between the front arm in order to work a wing in the gap. So when you're attaching these wings, you need to get the arm up like that. And this is the place that we're mainly going to be working on, is between the armpit and the top of the leg. So slip stitch in underneath the armpit and chain 3 stitches. And then slip stitch back down into the body like that. So you've got a little chain coming out of the armpit. Now turn your work around and then double crochet 3 stitches into that chain hole there, so around that chain. 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the arm. So go into the arm like that and slip stitch into place. Then turning the work again. We're now going to go back and we're going to double crochet 3 across those stitches and then slip stitch into our body. And this is just us really getting going before we're going to start increasing the wings. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to slip stitch into the body. So again, you're aiming for this straight line between the leg and the armpit. So just try and follow that line as you go along like that. Now we turn once more, and this is when we start doing our increasing. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase every other row. So the way that you can remember it is that you're always going to do an increase into the first stitch as you're moving back towards the arm from the body. So we're going to do 1, 2, and then 1, and then 2. And where the length between the armpit and the leg is that long, our length between our armpit and our hand, which is the one that we're trying to fill on that front, is twice as long. And so what we need to do is, rather than slip stitch every stitch, is miss a row and then slip stitch into the following one as you are going up that arm. So we turn again. As we move back down towards the body, we are not going to do an increase. So you miss your slip, and you're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then again, line up your straight line and slip stitch into position. And on the body, you will be doing it into every row. So on the arm, you miss a row. On the body, you're going into every row. Now, do refer to the specific of your pattern, because that one is specific to the Adrian pattern. If you are making the bat or maybe a different one, do follow the increase pattern as stated and slip stitch in, again, every row if it says to do so, or every other row if not. Do follow the specifics of your pattern rather than necessarily following what I'm doing here. This is specific to Adrian. So as I come back away from the arm, I come down towards the body. And slip stitch into position. Turning back again, and I'm going to be doing an increase again this time. And again, every other. So miss one and then go into the next one, because we need to make good ground on getting that wing up that arm. Now, before too long, you'll be merrily filling in your wing, and what will happen is you will come to the leg. So as you come backwards from that arm towards that leg, you will meet your leg. Now, you might need to do a couple more rows to get to your hand, and all you need to do when you get to the other end is slip stitch around the same stitch. So if you're coming along this wing like this, And we get to this point here. Now I'm going to go back around, if you just have a look there, go back around that same stitch with your slip stitch, and then continue to go back the way, doing your increase as normal and slip stitching in 2 more down. So I'm going to do my increase here. 1, 2, 3. Then when I get to the bottom, slip stitch around that same stitch at the top of the leg. One more there. So slip stitch in and turn, and then this will be the last run up with an increase for the body. So I'm going to do 2 in my first one as I've turned, and then 3, 4 in 2 rounds up. And what I'm going to do is you can just swap straight to your yellow and come back down in your yellow to edge that off. And as a right-handed crocheter, I'm making sure that I'm going to be doing my yellow into the front. So do you see how I want to land these V's neatly on that side on the front? So whichever side you end up on with about 18 stitches, because although this is a science, there's a little bit of art to this technique as well. So don't worry about that. So long as you're around 18 stitches on the bottom of your wing, swap to your yellow like that. You could just totally break your yarn in a normal way and then rejoin on your yellow to do it. And we're just going to double crochet 1 last time all the way along in yellow to finish that wing off neatly. But as I've said again, this wing technique applies to lots of different patterns, but do follow the specifics of your pattern, because it's all on the angle that the 2 things are that you're joining on how that wing looks. So this one is for Adrian, where I've been doing miss 2 when I slip stitching on the arm and every stitch on the body with increasing every other, but that will be different depending on which pattern you are doing. So do make sure you refer to your Ed's Animals pattern if you are making the bat or the pterodactyl or maybe the sugar glider. So that's that done. Time to sew in my ends.